Hello, Inado dearest.
Hey.
Did I mention how beautiful and exquisite you look today?
What? Beautiful,
Yeah?
exquisite.
Yeah?
Since when? No, sir.
Can't a brother just, appreciate, a beautiful woman? Come on. What's up with that?
Do you want to get to the point? Is there something you need?
Okay, what are you writing? What? Let me see.
No.
Why?
Because I have an idea I'm putting down and I don't want you to steal my intellectual property.
Hello? What is intellectual property? You know what? Let's do a vox pop. Let's go straight to the streets and let's hear what the public have to say about intellectual property. Yeah?
Well, I think that's a good idea.
Let's do it.
The little I understand about intellectual property is more about protection for works developed by people, more pertaining to artworks from artists, musicians, and the likes. Basically, anything generated by a person using his own mind. So I think the whole concept came up in a way to protect people's work and to make sure that they get properly compensated.
Well, intellectual property, when you talk about it in the country here, it's been abused. The right of artists is being abused by some kind people that we have that don't have brain. That you can't tell me when an artist suffered to produce a music and hoping to reap from there. Then you that's when you find some of our boys or even matured men, you see them copywriting it and then selling it at a lower price, then depriving the artist from getting the money that he's supposed to get.
Are you a creative person? Are you looking for the right partner to help you transform your talent into your business? We can help with that. First Bank SME Connect. Visit sme.firstbanknigeria.com to find out more.
You first. First Bank.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is the Arts Arena. Before we went on a break, we visited the streets to find out what the public thinks about intellectual property. Now we're back in the studios. We have two special guests, professionals in the legal field, to tell us about intellectual property and copyright infringement. We have Ibukun Abidoye, General Manager, Chocolate City Group, and Justin Ige, Managing Partner at Creative Legal. Thank you for joining us in the studio today.
Thank you for inviting us.
Yeah, welcome to the show. So let me go straight to you, Justin. What is intellectual property and why is it so easy to steal in Nigeria without consequences?
Intellectual property is not tangible. It's a product of your intellect, hence intellectual property. And there are different types of intellectual property. You have copyright, you have trademarks, you have patents, industrial designs. Those are the categories of intellectual property. And why is it so easy to steal? Is because it's intangible. It's intangible. So if you are stealing something that is physical, it's easy for somebody to catch you. It's easy for you to be identified as a thief. But and then we should also look at it, from our cultural perspective. Africa, we consider, I'm talking about in the traditional perspective, we consider intellectual property as communal in ownership, not personal. It doesn't help anymore because we are not in the traditional society anymore. So somebody writes a poem in a traditional society, the community takes ownership. And that's why even in the Copyright Act, you have aspects that relate to folklore, which is communal ownership of that. But if I write something now in contemporary times, it does not belong to my community. It belongs to me. This is capitalism era. It's very selfish era. But that's not selfishness,
I just pictured a scenario where maybe you are representing me and Mr. Bokon is representing Enado. Yeah, we are good friends now, but
Why do you
I'm just saying.
You're having the
That won't be a fair contest.
It won't be a fair contest.
Because she can easily charm me. She can easily charm you. And then we are disarmed.
Then again.
It's better if we switch.
Good point.
Okay, so Ibokun, is owning like a script or making a movie or maybe creating some type of piece of art, is that the same thing as owning intellectual property?
Yes, actually. But I will explain that further. Having the idea is not enough, obviously. It's the expression of the idea. And why they say that is because 2 or 3 people might have the same idea, but they have a unique way of expressing it, right? Or a unique offering that comes with the idea. So if you have an idea for a script, in your head, it's not intellectual property. When it's put down and you see the differences in maybe the intonation, the way the language is, expressed or whatever.
Delivery.
The way it's delivered. Because you do find that, for example, in film, there are a lot of movies that have the same themes,
Yeah.
but they're different in the way it's expressed, right?
True.
So each script is a separate intellectual property, but it might have the same themes sort of like playing through. So yes, once it's expressed, then you have intellectual property.
Can I add a few things? Script, properly so called, is literary work.
Yes. So
Literature. That is one expression.
True.
You own the script because you wrote it.
Okay.
That does not mean you own the film that is made or produced on the script.
Yes.
All right.
In fact, you own the script doesn't mean you own the performance of the script.
Whether
Because
they
the
stage-
performance itself
That's
is
it.
another
That's
subject
it.
of intellectual property.
But sorry
Interesting.
to cut in. Don't I need permission of the writer
script
to
writer.
perform it or?
This is what should be done. If you are a movie maker or a filmmaker, if you did not write your own script, there's something called chain of title. Many local filmmakers don't take that into consideration, but the newer generation, they are more informed and they're taking it into consideration. So make sure there's a transfer of title or ownership from the script to the performers of the script, that's the actors, to the film, so that in the film completely the filmmaker or the producer owns it. Because if you try to exploit a film which embodies somebody else's script which you do not own, you might run into trouble.
Or you can license it.
Yes,
Right,
you can.
you don't have to
You can
necessarily
license it.
buy
You
it
don't have to
later.
necessarily own it,
Yeah.
but at least own the right
To-
to use
exactly.
it as you have used it. She's very correct. You understand what I mean? It's the expression of the idea. So you might have one idea for the same story, another person might have an idea of the same story, and then I express it differently. Another person will necessarily express it differently. So it's not in the idea. I was consulting for a film, and the producer said he owns the copyright. Okay, you own the copyright. Okay, good. This is developmental stages. So I asked him, who wrote the script? Then he said, I jointly wrote the script. Okay. Oh, you jointly wrote. Okay, what aspect of the writing did you write? I gave the scriptwriter the idea. Oh, you
Back
gave
to
him
idea again.
the idea.
Yeah. That's why a
Did
lot
you
of people
write
make the
the
mistake.
synopsis? No, I didn't write. I didn't write the synopsis. So ultimately, in my head, I'm thinking, so he didn't write anything. So he doesn't own the script. Okay, good. Then, who is providing funding for the film? Oh, it's somebody
I'm
else.
not an investor.
Somebody else. But the law says that is the person by whose means the film is made that owns it. So now this filmmaker, does he own the film?
Ideally.
He doesn't own nothing.
No.
It's just
What
an
aspect of the
executive
film does he
producer.
even own? Nothing, not even the script.
Wow.
So I'm just looking. But I wasn't his lawyer.
There's an old saying in Nigeria, a good name is better than gold. At First Bank, we know that our reputation, built on award-winning services, is what keeps us in the coveted position of market leader. A reputation for understanding our customers' modern lifestyles and business needs. You first, First Bank.
Ibokun, is owning like a script or making a movie or maybe creating some type of piece of art, is that the same thing as owning intellectual property?
Yes, actually. But I will explain that further. Having the idea is not enough, obviously. It's the expression of the idea. And why they say that is because 2 or 3 people might have the same idea, but they have a unique way of expressing it, right?
Okay.
Or a unique offering that comes with the idea.
Welcome back. This is the Arts Arena. If I might ask you, there has to be like a registration process, right? Because the mere fact that you had an idea and you made a film or you made a movie or a script or you had an innovation, is that enough to protect you?
For trademark, you must register.
Okay.
For patent, you must register. The requirements for copyright is 1, originality. 2nd, fixation. Originality doesn't mean everything about what you are doing has to be original. It means that substantial effort must have been deployed into giving it an original character.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? And then for fixation, that is the expression that we've been talking about. You understand? So you must have fixed it into a definite medium of expression. Those are the words of, the words of the law. So if you have an idea, once you express it, for example, into an artwork, that's a definite medium of expressing what you had in mind.
Okay.
If it's a song, once you have written it down or recorded it, that's fixation.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. If it's a poem or a script, once you've written it down, that's a definite medium of expression. It's fixed. You understand?
Okay.
So that's what's required.
Okay, sorry, Ibukun, you are the general manager of Chocolate City Group, yeah, and of course, everybody knows Chocolate City, the Air Miles, the Ice Springs, and all these people. So you are directly involved with the music, and has there been any interesting case, you guys dealt with, that has to do with, protecting the artist, intellectual property? Is there any interesting story you want to share with?
Even just the production process, there's a lot of discussion on intellectual property, who owns the song, between the person that is the artist as the songwriter, or just an artist that just sings what another person has written, or where does the right of the producer start and stop? Are you a producer arranger, like he likes to call it, or a producer composer, right? So just in general conversation and in the day-to-day functioning, I don't think it needs to go to court before you're sort of dealing with intellectual property issues. So between the producers in-house, between the artists, maybe you have collaborations, how much percentage of the song does this artist own versus the other? And how is it being documented? Is it being written down? Is it being protected by goes on, like Copyright Society of Nigeria, or like, you know what I mean? So again, people always think that IP issues start when it's in court. But it's actually from the formation of it. It's from the creative process. And what I always encourage people is that, yes, you guys are vibing in the studio, but you need to be very clear that there's a lot behind that. Even if you're in the studio and two people are just, working on a song and everybody's really excited and you just give them a hook, that is intellectual property. You have rights to that, especially if it changes the song in a unique way, right? So, without having to talk about any particular case, I think we deal with it all the time. I wouldn't say that there's any unique situation that stands out, because we deal with it every day.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I might add something, just to agree with her, everybody deals with it. Whether you are dealing with it for feature, I say, you don't know you're dealing with it.
Yeah.
You're just keeping quiet.
Yeah.
You are still dealing with it. Whether you like it or not, you're dealing with it. Right now, you're dealing with it. Right now, you are dealing with it as we speak.
Okay, Ibukun, how do you protect your intellectual property? And in a case where, that has been infringed on, how do you deal with it? What are the necessary steps that you can take? You find out that someone has used or stolen or whatever the case might be, you're not happy with something that has happened. How do you handle?
The first thing is I call him. I'm just kidding. No, I think the first thing is you notify, right? You notify the person. If it's something that can be remedied, you first of all notify them that, okay, you're infringing on my work. Maybe the one that we always deal with a lot is, maybe you release a song and somebody purchases it on iTunes, let's say, or Cloud9 or whatever, and they take the music and then put it up on their blog, right? The idea is I'm helping the artist, I'm promoting the music. I love this guy so much, I love his music, I want everyone to come on here and listen to the music. Like I'm the salvation, right? Let's assume that's what the person is saying.
So what did fella have to say about that?
So then, you notify them and say, actually, you purchased that to be used in your private home, right? There's been an exchange, so I've been paid for that.
For private consumption.
Exactly, it's private consumption. It's not for you to now publicly display or publicly perform it via your blog, right? So can you please take it down? So that's the first thing. The truth is, a lot of individuals don't necessarily have access to that or don't know how to go about that. So this is where they go to lawyers.
But in the case where it's not a website, you're dealing with
it would still be the same process, I think, because you need to sort of notify them, let them know that, okay, you're infringing. Sometimes you can say, okay, instead of us having to take this another way or mediate or arbitrate or whatever course of action you want to take, you say, okay, pay me, right? Let's have, since it's a business situation, why don't you pay me the amount of money? Because the truth is that sometimes you do need their audience, right? So this is the amount of money that it would cost for this. I don't know that in Nigeria we necessarily have a standardized fee. So a lot of times you as the content creator, you just say, this is how much. And that's the beauty of copyright. You can just say, these are the damages that I think I'm owed. This is how much I think. Obviously, there's
put a value to your own.
Yeah, that you
work.
put a value to it. In other places, like mechanical licenses, which is the reproduction of music from one form to another, right? So, like putting on a CD and then So there's an actual standardized fee in America, which is 91 cents, right? So per duplication, per copy. So per duplication, if you're doing 1,000 CDs, you say 0.91 cents times 1,000 CDs. You get an idea of what you're going to pay.
Downloads.
Or 1,000 downloads or whatever. So I don't know that we necessarily have those figures. But so a lot of times we just say, this is the value that I feel is worth. This is how much I feel like I've lost because you've done this. I'm assuming that maybe your site, you have XYZ number of visits. A lot of times you have the number at the bottom. All those blogs that they'll be counting XYZ people have visited. You just be like, okay, I'm putting this value, multiply it by that, you pay me. Right, so.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I mean, we can't thank you enough for enlightening us on this subject. I know my co-host would like to go on, but seriously, I mean, we're so grateful. We have a small token for you from our sponsors. Enado, do you mind doing the honors?
So,
yes.
On behalf of the Arts Arena and our sponsor, First Bank, I would like to present to you.
Thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us in the studio today. It's been so informative. We had so much fun having you guys around. And like he said, if it were up to me, I would go on and on and on. You know, more people need this information. So thank you.
Thank you for having me.
It's been an exciting time on your favorite Art Arena. Till we come your way again next week, same time, same station. It's goodbye from all of us.